Board of Education, February 16th, 2023, 7 p.m. in the Rocky Hill Town Hall Council Chambers. This meeting is being live streamed to the Rocky Hill Public School website. If everyone can please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's board meeting. Item number 2 on the agenda will be meeting open to the public. This portion of the meeting is specifically set aside for comments from the public. Speakers are asked to limit their comments to 2 minutes on any topic. Is there anyone from the public here tonight wishing to address the board? All right, seeing none. Well, Mr. Kosker doesn't have anything to inform us about tonight, huh? Well, we're glad you're here, Tommy. All right. Report of student representatives from Rocky Hill High School. Are they here? All right.
Hello, I'm Parth Gohill, and so going into February break for the Rocky Hill High School, passing, we just had our 8th grade orientation. We had about 150 families represented there. A great night for the 8th graders to see what they're coming into, and they're definitely going to have their August orientation too with their new schedules. Speaking of which, class registration for next year is already underway. Students are already picking their classes. Of course, as a senior, I'm not, but freshmen, sophomore, juniors, they're doing that. Looking back again, we had Cabaret. That was a great success. Our principal over there has commended us on our success for the Cabaret many times, and it was a great night. So we saw a lot of great performances there. Also, the Model UN Club, they went on a field trip. They went to Boston to represent many different countries. It was a group of 8 students over the weekend. I was part of that, so it was a great experience. And winter athletics is coming to an end now. Several teams are also extending their season. They're planning to play in the playoffs, so definitely looking forward to the end of their season, a successful end, hopefully. We also look forward to the NEASC visit in March, and I'm sure you guys are probably familiar with that. They evaluate points of strengths and interests for us, and we're excited for their evaluation. We also have the peer tutoring lab, which is by the National Honor Society, and seniors in the National Honor Society actually had the privilege today of going around talking to homerooms and encouraging students to come up there and get some tutoring, just hoping to increase that student interaction between one another. And the final thing we have on March 2nd, we have a junior college financial planning night, and we hope to see representatives from many different colleges coming in to talk to our students. That's pretty much all we have for February. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on, we will have the report from student representatives from Griswold Middle School.
Good evening. I'm Ava Gudat.
And I'm Anna Schetzel.
And we are student council reporters from GMS. Here's what's been going on since we last reported in the fall.
GMS Student Council has been very busy. In October, it held a Pink Out Spirit Day and raised $481 for the Susan G. Komen Foundation. November's Spirit Day was Camo for Coffee, and the proceeds were used to provide the Veterans Home with 552 coffee pods. In December, the school participated in the statewide PJ Day for the Kids and raised $586 for CCMC, and then held an Ugly Sweater Day, which enabled the purchase of 8 $25 Stop and Shop gift cards for local families. Today, we held a first aid/emergency action plan meeting where Officer Raymond and Officer Baker instructed members on how to be prepared for and respond to an emergency situation.
GMS sports teams have seen great success this year. Cross country was the fall highlight, winning both the boys and girls league championships. For the boys, it was the 3rd championship, and for the girls, it was the 1st league championship in school history. The team consisted of 45 runners in both the 7th and 8th grades, and Mr. James McKinnon also earned his 200th career victory as the head coach of the program. Right now, the winter sports season is wrapping up. The girls and boys basketball team each played 12 games. The girls were undefeated, and the boys' record was 4-8. The wrestling team had 15 members and spent a lot of time practicing maneuvers on the mats and volleyball for 8th grade is underway. Finally, the unified sports teams have had a very busy few months. In October, a team traveled to Cheshire to participate in the state soccer tournament. In December, the team hosted their first ever cornhole tournament against Rocky Hill High School. The tournament was a great success, and the team looks forward to making this an annual event. In February and March, the team is excited to participate in both basketball and bowling competitions.
The GMS Cares Club has also been hard at work. It held a sock drive collecting over 700 pairs of socks, which were donated to Rocky Hill families and seniors in need, as well as the Mercy House Shelter in Hartford, Connecticut. They collected over $1,000 in gifts and monetary donations for Mercy House and were able to fulfill all of the items on the family's wish list plus extras. Several of its members also took part in a spirit night at West Hill where they wrapped gifts for the senior Christmas party. GMS Cares also helped sell bracelets to raise money for a student battling cancer. And the most recent project was making Valentine's Day cards for troops currently serving overseas to be included in care packages sent by the Boxes for Boots nonprofit organization.
After-school clubs are very popular at GMS, and there are many clubs for students to choose from. This includes Newspaper Club, Lego Club, Stamp Club, Student Council, GMS Scares, STEM Club, Math Counts, Drama Club, Homework Club, School Store Workers, Student Announcers Club, and several intramural sports for 6th graders. With all of this activity, the school is very busy after hours.
And finally, the GMS Music Department put on 2 great shows on December 20th and December 21st. There were choral and band performances by all 3 grades, and the 7th and 8th grade jazz ensembles were joined by special guest Mr. Maziarz on the trombone. Thank you and have a great evening.
Thank you. All right, moving on, we have the approval of minutes, January 19th, 2023 Board of Education meeting, January 24th, 2023 Board of Education Budget Workshop, January 26th, 2023 Board of Education Budget Workshop, February 6th, 2023 Board of Education Special Education Committee meeting, and February 6th, 2023 Board of Education Facilities Committee meeting. Does anyone have any edits, corrections, or deletions to the minutes? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Motion by Mr. Slattery. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Manella. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes 8-0. All right, correspondence, Dr. Zito.
One item concerning the art teacher at the middle school, but not Miss Goudat. Not talking about you. Paying attention. We got the retirement letter from Miss Barnett Frowley. And, yeah, well, I was hoping you'd stay for a second. Maybe you could say a few words about your colleague. Miss Barnett Frowley's been with us for a long time. She's a veteran art teacher, beloved by the students and our colleagues. We have 2 art teachers at the middle school, and Sue is our other art teacher who's here this evening, and you heard her daughter speak earlier. So, Jason and Sue, I know she's going to be missed, but we're going to wish her all the best in her well-deserved retirement. She'll be with us through the end of the school year.
Excellent. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Have a good evening.
Is that it for correspondence?
Yeah, that was the one letter I received. Yes, sir.
Okay. Consent calendar. Approval of bid award for the Griswold Middle School roof project. Would anyone like this item removed from the consent calendar? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Motion to approve the consent calendar.
Motion by Mr. Slattery. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Lafredo. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes 8-0. Thank you. Committee reports. Curriculum. Do not have Ms. Tucker is not here tonight. She had a work conflict. I don't think we met, though. Correct, Dr. Zito? We did not have.
No, we did not, although Ms. Listro and I have talked about getting something on the books in the next several weeks. So
Okay.
we'll coordinate with Ms. Tucker on her schedule, and we'll check with you as the chair, and then we'll get something on the books.
All right. Excellent. Facilities. Mr. Gavin.
The Facilities Committee had a meeting on February 6th. During that meeting, we discussed the bid results for the Griswold Middle School roof that we just passed. We also discussed the Stevens School HVAC project, Phase 1, which we are waiting for additional information on. We also had a discussion regarding solar panels, which we're looking to get more information on. And we had a discussion for some minor potential adjustments to the CIP.
Excellent. Any questions for Mr. Gavin? I know in a bit we'll be discussing the CIP, and I think we'll be regrouping once Mr. LaMontagne gets more information, right?
Correct.
On the solar panels and the Stevens project. All right, finance. Ms. Tucker is not here tonight, but I think we're all well aware of the budget process. So finance is well spoken for. P&N, Mr. Gavin.
We did not have any meetings, and we do not have any meetings scheduled at this time.
All
The
right.
teacher contract will be up, where's Chuck, if I can see him? We'll probably start in late August with the teacher.
Right.
And that'll be the next big task for the P&N committee.
All right.
Can you remind me who's on the PNN committee other than?
It's Mr. Gavin, I have it, I can
Okay.
dig for it.
Oh, you are?
I think
Okay.
it's Jen, you're right, and DeLip.
Okay.
I think it's the three, right? Gavin, DeLip, and Jen.
Let me double-
I always forget too, so if I don't look at the list.
It's been a couple of years.
Well, yeah, we haven't,
It's been a
it's been a
couple of
while.
years.
Yeah. All right, while Dr.
Find
Zito's
that for you.
looking, we'll move on to policy, Mr. Slattery.
Policy has not met, and we do not have anything scheduled at this time.
All right, special education, Mr. Slattery.
Special Education Committee met on February 6, 2023, to discuss the possible expansion, or proposed expansion of the Dream Academy, which also involved some more discussion of the budget, and I believe we'll be discussing further that subject in the near
Right, oh, here we have P&N, Mr. Gavin, I was right.
Yeah,
Ms.
Ms. Barrymore.
Morphia and Mr. Desai. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions on special education? None. Moving on to correct counsel, Mr. Desai.
So, correct monthly meeting was held on February 15th, 2023. Student-centered funding, House Bill 5003 was presented to council by State Rep. Jeff Curry. Shipman and Goodwin attorney Tom Mooney gave results of contract negotiations for crack Teachers Education Association and crack certified administrative personnel. This morning, attended 2023 Legislative Forum at the Capitol about legislative priorities and educational issues for the 2023 session of the Connecticut General Assembly, which was hosted by Craig, Hassa, and Cape. That's all for me.
Excellent. Any questions for Mr. Desai? Hearing none, we will move on. School safety, Mr. Slattery.
School safety has not met. We intend to meet, hopefully, I think we're going to try and sneak it in next week if we can. But in any event, we'll be meeting shortly to discuss, finalize the SRO recommendations for next year to be transmitted to the town council with our budget, and any potential grants that we may be applying for that were recently announced from the Lamont administration regarding potential infrastructure upgrades for school safety.
Correct.
I can make a quick comment?
Yes, Dr. Zito.
So there was some conversation about the special meeting. There were some members that had some conflicts. We moved it to Thursday at 6 o'clock. I'll talk about that in my report. But the possibility is to try to get the school safety meeting scheduled for 5 o'clock on Thursday, the 23rd. And the committee members, because you've only had one meeting, Mr. Slattery chairs the committee, Mrs. Barron-Morphia, Mr. Gavin, and Mrs. Lafredo are the members of school safety. And that's a relatively new committee that was formed last summer. So I just wanted to get those names out there. So I can include that in the weekly update
And
as well.
if that time slot works for those committee members, that'd be great. If not, we can
Not,
try
we'll
to.
reschedule.
Can reschedule. We're just trying to limit the amount of nights that
Right.
people have to
And
go out
we
in
moved
light
the
of the
Wednesday to
budget.
accommodate the holiday conflict that some people had, so hopefully, yeah, absolutely.
And my apologies, I did not look at the calendar before we picked the date. I would have been in trouble too, so, thank you. So, thank you.
There were a number of us. then.
Yes, yes.
So Dr. Zito will reconnect with everyone, but we will certainly, if that time works, if not, we'll
I
look
mean,
at
if
alternative.
we could just, is that a problem with the 5 o'clock that evening? It's an hour earlier than I was asking you to come in for the 6.
No, it's fine.
This works for you? Fredo?
I'm off.
Mr. Gavin? Okay. And Mr. Slattery, you're good? And
Yep.
so, okay, so we'll schedule school safety at
Okay.
5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And we're going to have that meeting at the high school, both of those meetings.
All right. All right, continuing through old business. We do not have any, correct?
No old business.
Okay. Moving into new business, the first agenda item is our continuing review of the revised budget. We currently have 3 items here in front of us as part of the proposal for our upcoming budget. The first one, and I think I'll start, maybe then turn it over to you, Dr.
Sure.
Zito, or do you want to start?
You go ahead, Mr. Dillon. You're the chair.
So the first one was based on the last dialogue from the board. I did ask Dr. Zito to outline the possible budget changes. These are subject to board approval tonight. The first one was the consolidation of office furniture for GMS, where the board's policy previously had been to keep it all in the CIP. That would be a reduction from the existing budget as proposed by the superintendent. That is being offset by the proposed purchase of microscopes, which we were informed were significantly outdated. And Ms. Listro is nodding her head. They are certainly outdated. So those 2 proposed changes end up in providing a $7,280 increase to the board. So if we want to open up the floor with a motion to make this change or not make this change, we can do that. But we need to start a motion to have a dialogue.
Motion to have a dialogue regarding the possible budget changes.
If you can make a motion to propose these changes, then we can debate it.
Motion to propose these changes as listed, which would be removing the $10,000 office furniture from the budget and updating the microscopes GMS.
Correct. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Manella. Any further discussion or debate on the item? Anyone?
I guess just clarification again. So these are microscopes, not the stereoscopes, correct?
So one is a compound. There's actually 2 microscopes that go into this amount. One is the compound microscope, and then the other one is a more advanced stereoscope that is more traditional with the light underneath. So it's 2. They're both state-of-the-art. They involve LED lighting, all kinds of wonderful upgrades for the students. And the quantity is 30, which allows for both classes to be using them at the same time. So that's the wish list. It certainly can be discussed further.
All right, any other further questions?
Is that 30 of each or 30 total?
30 total. 30 total.
Of each.
Of each, oh, so it's 60.
that
Wow.
price is
All right.
2 separate microscopes to replace the outdated ones, quantity of 30 each.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying. Even better. It's a bigger bargain.
That's 60.
Yeah.
Yes.
Any additional questions? All right, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes 8-0. All right. The second thing in front of us is a proposed revision to the CIP. At the facilities meeting, there was a discussion about the need for completion of the design process before potential funding for construction. With that, a proposal was made and endorsed by the Facilities Committee to move $50,000 to this year's CIP for the possibility of completing the Tech Ed and Media Center renovation design. That is the one change here that's listed in the CIP. The CIP will be transmitted back over to the council as part of our budget transmittal. The actual funding for this is on the council side of the budget. With that, I'll entertain a motion so we can debate if needed.
Motion to move $50,000 from the Tech Ed Media Center renovations to this year for design, this year's proposed CIP for design.
Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Manella. Any further discussion?
And I should say, we're moving it from year 26, 27.
Yep, yep.
moving it to the.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes 8-0. That is the new revised CIP now for our budget books. All right, the last comment, the last piece of information here was based on some questions from board members regarding the ongoing technology package that was part of our budget. This here is the breakdown of the $344,100 in the technology budget. So that is informational.
Yeah, if
Anything
I
else
could speak
back-
to that.
Yeah.
So just to give folks a background here. So if you recall, this was one of the areas during the budget presentation where there was a lot of discussion. Chris had originally come in, and he's doing a great job as our director. He'd originally come in at around $650,000. That would have driven the budget overall well over 5%. If you recall, I went to the podium and said I'm holding them basically at a zero increase. So you see that reflected there. So he prioritized within, roughly $340,000 to $350,000. What would he be able to accomplish next year? And we broke it down so you can see exactly what that entails. The AV equipment at Stevens and West Hill. The only desktops in this budget now, as it's structured, are to support the tech labs at the high school. We have 2 labs that were redesigned when the school was recommissioned, essentially in 2017 with a renovation. And those labs support the Project Lead the Way courses, the computer automized drafting course, computer technology. Laptops don't have the horsepower to hold the memory that those courses require. When you're designing a drafting program and you're using that, you're pulling that up on the monitor and it's being run through the program in the computer, those labs really do require the desktop. So that's it for desktops. I know there was a lot of discussion about potentially transitioning away from those. $180,000, the bulk of this is going to be spent on student devices, which are essentially refreshing Chromebooks for 2 grade levels. And then there's some networking, wireless type needs that have to be addressed. So it's you budget, in my mind, from, a fancy Cadillac all the way down to a Chevy that'll still get you from point A to point B. And this is kind of the strip model Chevy, but it gets us where we need to go. Chris did a great job prioritizing this. I know there's been quite a bit of discussion about moving away from the desktops. That's going to be addressed in a lot of detail next week. One of the reasons we're having the meeting at the high school is so that we can show you some demonstration. In general terms, the secondary teachers, particularly math teachers, they're already piloting going without the desktops in the math department at the high school, and they're happy with it. We think we can get middle school teachers to buy into this. It's a different animal at the elementary level just because of the nature of the way elementary classrooms are set up. So this budget does not include the purchase of any new desktops. However, in terms of getting, out of the desktop business, if you will, I think that would take a long time. I am comfortable working with our secondary level teachers to try to move in that direction, and I think some of them are excited about that. They like the idea of having the iPad, having the monitor set up in the room, being able to lock into a docking station with their laptop and take that laptop home with them. So I don't want to get into the weeds on this tonight, but I just wanted to explain to you why I brought this tonight so you could actually see where these numbers sit at this point.
Okay. So this was an informational piece requested by one of our board members regarding what was being spent. That is everything we have tonight in terms of budget questions, but the floor is open for any additional debate for additions, revisions to the budget. That's the reason why we're here tonight. Questions, thoughts? I did not see any questions from any board members except the one on the tech package. So I'm not aware of anything else that we have anything open. So
And again, the board doesn't adopt its final number until
still going to have
March.
time. Yep. So
So you have time, if other board members have questions or suggestions or things they want the full board to engage in. You send me the question, I'll provide the information, just like I did tonight, to the full board, and then I'll rely on the chairman to structure the debate and the forum for that. And my understanding is we may be adopting the budget in a special meeting.
Well, I'm hoping to have one more if we can tie it into another meeting before that date. We just got to confirm the date. But if we don't get any questions, then we won't need to do that. All right, any other final questions, budget deliberations? No? Okay, we will move on to item 15, Assistant Superintendent for Personnel and Student Services. Ms. Stevenson.
All right, good evening, everyone. So I have a pretty brief report. I wanted to talk about some HR news. We just continue to get a really great applicant pool every time we have an opening. So I'm just so impressed with that. So I just wanted you guys to all know. Since the last board meeting, we've hired a new OT. We had a great applicant pool for that, and we hired a really great OT. We are hiring a new Spanish teacher. We're in the process of hiring a new nurse. Again, a great applicant pool, and that always hasn't been the case in the past, so it's really exciting to see. We've expanded some of our postings and are posting on Indeed, and that's really, especially for the non-certified positions, it's really bringing out more candidates, which has been great. And we're, strong on our hiring for coaching, paraeducators, tutors. It's just been going really well, so I'm just really pleased with that, and I wanted to share that with you. Any questions on the HR piece? All right, for special education, I did want to let you all know that I wrote a grant there was a mental health grant that was available to all the districts, but they only gave it to, I think it was about 15 districts, and we were not one of them, so that's unfortunate. However, there's going to be another opportunity coming up to try again, so I'm going to try again, and I'm hopeful that we'll be getting that, and that's really going to be for adding a social worker, psychologist, something like that to help our students. So I'll keep you posted on that. I think we are getting the grant for the CT SEDS. It's only $15,000, and it has to be expended by September of 2023. And the plan for that is to hire a building sub to help give time for our teachers to get training on the CT SEDS to continue to support them with that. So that's the plan. And I just wanted to let you know that Jesse Herman, Special Ed Director, and Sarah St. Pierre, our Special Education Supervisor, have implemented a new protocol, and they're sending monthly newsletters to all of our special education related service staff. And this is a really great thing, and it was something I was never able to do when I was doing the job on my own. So they've teamed up together, and they're putting information about CT SEDS, protocols, special education procedures to really make sure everybody's getting the same information. It's been really great. And they've also incorporated, I just thought this was really positive, a raffle. And Katie Ancona, who is one of our West Hill special education teachers, was the first winner. And she was informed that a Dunkin' Donut gift card is on the way to her mailbox this week. So that was exciting. And then another piece that they incorporated into the newsletter is shout outs for the staff. And the staff are able to kind of nominate their peers. And we've had a bunch of people nominate their peers for just doing great things. And it's just been really positive. So I just wanted to share that with you all. So, yeah. Any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Stevenson?
That newsletter goes to all of?
It goes to all special education and social workers, school psychologists, OT, PT, that related services staff. Yeah, it doesn't go to regular staff, not the general, because they would look at it and go, oh my goodness, what do these words even mean? So, right, Tom?
I think that's a great way to boost morale, especially because they've been working so hard on this.
It's been tough. It's been very challenging, especially for our teachers that have been working in special education for a long time and had to learn IEP Direct. That was new because, back in the day we used to handwrite the IEPs, and now they had to learn IEP Direct, which was a whole thing, and now it's a whole new system. So it's been quite challenging. And Jessie and Sarah and Sandy Mall she has office hours now. She goes to all the schools. She's been so helpful to the teachers. So we've just really been trying to provide them support, and it's been going, I think, well.
All right. Any additional questions for Ms. Stevenson? Hearing none. All right. We will move on to the Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, Ms. Listro. Oh, I skipped over Mr. Zettergren. I'm sorry. The Assistant Superintendent for Finance and Operations. Mr. Zettergren, my apologies.
No problem. So as usual, in your board packet is the financial report through the month ending January 2023. And I have highlighted some of the accounts that we are keeping an eye on as we progress through the school year. We're getting to that point where we're able to refine some of the numbers, although we have a little bit of ways still to go, but we'll keep you updated on any changes that come about as we approach the end of the year. I did also want to bring up some other items that you are probably aware of. It's been in the news, but the governor has approved funding for free school meals for the remainder of the school year. The board has previously approved the funding of free school meals through March 31st, 2023. We are still awaiting guidance on how this will be implemented from the state. And we're supposed to get some news soon, but we still don't know how that's all going to be rolled out. As soon as we do, we'll update the board and get something out to families.
Excellent.
There is also proposed legislation, an act expanding school meal programs to provide free school meals to all students beginning July 1, 2023. However, that act, at this point in time, the way it's written, is without any additional state funding. So while that's a goal that's worthy, mandating that each local or regional board of education operate a school lunch and breakfast program and provide free meals to all students without any additional state funding can be a little bit worrisome and create an undue burden to school districts and the towns. So in Rocky Hill, we have about 2,500 students, 19% of which are considered to be free and reduced according to USDA guidelines, leaving 81% that right now under USDA guidelines can afford to pay for lunches. So without any additional state funding, that would leave us with possibly about $1 million hit to our food service program. Now, it's only a proposed legislation, but we'll see where that goes. I just wanted to give you an update, because sometimes, these bills get out there and nothing happens, but...
And that's very tough for boards of ed, because our budget will already be adopted at that point.
Exactly, and with the implementation date of July 1, 2023, that's going to be very difficult.
Yep.
So a lot can happen between now and then. I just wanted to let you know it's out there.
Any questions for Mr. Zettergren?
I got a few other items.
Oh, keep on going.
Be very quick. I know.
No, we're enjoying this, Chuck. I'm sorry, I thought you were at the end.
Lastly, I just wanted to update you. We have been looking at some different software programs, and we are in the process of possibly being able to offer ticket sales for our sporting events, proms, plays, and things of that nature on a digital basis through a platform called GoFan. A lot of districts in the state are using it. This has a couple benefits. It eliminates the handling of cash at these events. A lot of people don't carry cash anymore. And we have accounting procedures put in place to handle it, but if we can do away with some of that, that would be great. So in this case, fans would purchase tickets basically through an app, and they would receive the tickets on their phones, and then they could come to the event and just have the phones available and get checked in that way. So we're going to probably roll it out slowly, maybe to some of the proms and things like that, just to get people acclimated to it, and then go from there, and possibly in the fall start looking to break it out to our sporting events.
Excellent.
That's it.
That's it. Okay, I don't want to get in trouble again, Chuck. All right. I do know that they use the GoFan for like the CIAC tournament events, and it works very well. So it's a great tool. All right. Any other questions for Mr. Zettergren?
I just wondered if you could give us those numbers again that you rattled off about percentages.
Yeah. So in Rocky Hill, every school district is different, so it's going to affect every school district differently. But in Rocky Hill, we're currently roughly 19%. Of our students qualify for free reduced. And that's based on, some families, we try to encourage them to fill out the applications for free and reduced, but so that only accounts for families that are doing that. leaving about 81% currently that are eligible to pay under the USDA guidelines.
How many students do we have?
About 2,500.
2,500. Thanks.
Yeah,
And that current legislation would require free lunch and breakfast for everybody. not-
everybody. Without any additional state funding, that's the tough part.
Do you have the bill number for that?
Yeah, it's SB, Senate Bill 929. I can send you the information if you like.
Please, if you could. Thank you.
All right, any additional questions for Mr. Zedigan? All right, thank you, Chuck.
Yep.
And now moving on to Ms. Listro, the Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction.
Okay. This is the time of year where we are knee-deep in Lost Links testing for our English learners. We are almost done. The window closes on March 3rd. We're in good shape to complete all the testing by then. We have a professional development day, as you know, scheduled for teachers tomorrow. And just to give you a little overview, Mrs. Stevenson didn't mention it, so I will. She's having a special education team meeting with some of the teachers in the younger grades. We have the Part 2 Difficult Conversations workshop that I talked about last month, in which teachers will learn how to navigate difficult conversations to avoid conflict, de-escalate the conversation without making either party feel like the teacher's taking a side. We're also continuing our rollout with the Indian culture presentation. My executive assistant, Rupali Brar, created a well-received presentation. She'll be offering that to the middle school tomorrow. And we're offering a session to help teachers in the younger grades address the social and emotional well-being of students. It will be hands-on, involve mindfulness activities, physical activities that teachers can do, and it's coming with some little gift bags for every teacher with props that they can use to help support the social and emotional well-being, as well as our traditional literacy, math, science, etc., our academic work that we do. March 2nd is Read Across America Day, and much like years past, we have some exciting author visits happening. The kickoff will actually be February 28th at GMS this year. We have author Jennifer Nielsen conducting a virtual assembly with the students. She's the New York Times bestselling author who writes historical fiction, and we are very excited to see what she has to say, and we're hoping she might actually give a little preview of her new book, Iceberg, which is set to launch in early March. We hope that sometimes captivates kids to read a little bit more. In your packets, the smaller book is a copy of one of Miss Nilsson's books that we bought for you. The larger book, we're asking you to not open until March 2nd, our big reveal.
Not open.
And that is because our author of that book has asked that he remain a surprise for the students until he visits. So we wrapped the book for you so that you're not even tempted to peek. But I will give you a little clue. This mystery guest is sure to bring a magical experience that celebrates the love of reading a good book. So you can join our students in the celebration and open it along with them on early in the morning of March 2nd. I think when you see who the author is, you will be impressed. So, and we will be sharing more about that once the big reveal happens. A couple reminders about some upcoming events. On March 8th, we have a Women in Action event. The High School Girls Up Club is organizing a panel of successful local women to come share their story with students. They'll be asked questions and just help keep our young high school women informed on different things to help them pursue their life after high school. And that, of course, is in celebration of Women's History Month in March. March 9th, Thursday, right before our board meeting, there is a Youth Art month reception at Cora J. Belden from 6 to 7:30, so you may want to stop by if you're able. This is the first time we're bringing it back in several years because of the pandemic, so we're excited to welcome Mr. Schumann and his jazz group. They will be performing at the reception, and Ms. Monaco's advanced baking students will be serving up some culinary treats, as well as our friends of the library who always serve out delicious punch. The artwork will remain on display through the end of March, so if you can't make it March 9th, please feel free to stop by and take a peek throughout the coming weeks. And as was mentioned at the last board meeting, just a reminder, the Harlan Wizard event is scheduled to take place on March 17th, and our Rocky Hill school team is shaping up. It is sure to be a lot of fun, so hopefully you can attend that as well.
Excellent.
That's it. Thank you.
All right, any questions for Ms. Listro?
2 questions.
Mr.
Yes.
Slattery?
Who wrapped this? Because it looks amazing.
I have to give credit once again to Rupali Brar. She's amazing.
And
She's very
can I hire
crafty.
her next year during Christmas? Thank you.
All right. Any questions? No? All right, we're going to move on to Dr. Zito. Thank you for that report. Dr. Zito.
Very quick, first of all, today, we began the mini break for the students. So tomorrow's a professional development day. They have until Wednesday, so hopefully we'll enjoy a nice, long 5-day mini break. I see the look from Mr. Gavin, not a fan. Unacceptable. Mr. Gavin is probably going to propose that we have 365 days a year of school
Yes.
every year.
Is that a motion? I'll second.
Popular with the kids, might violate a few state regs too. The only other quick update, and I kind of talked about it earlier, but we are going to go for the 23rd, 5 o'clock for the school security meeting. One of the items we need to address at that meeting is the new state security grant. It's an infrastructure grant, basically to harden the facilities. We've started working on that in anticipation of getting board approval. I see Mr. LaMontagne is here. He's working with Mr. Zettergren. We're putting that together. We've been successful in the past on some of these grants. We never know how they're going to turn out, but we have been successful a couple of times. So we're going to be discussing that and giving the board kind of an overview, and then looking basically for your approval to move forward with that in that setting. I think you can do it there through committee, and then we could come back. If we get the grant, the board could formally accept it at a board meeting. And then the second meeting that evening is a special board meeting focused on the expansion of the Dream Academy and the district-wide technology audit. If you remember from last June, when we met for my evaluation, these were 2 areas of focus that the board established. So we're following through on those goals, essentially, that the board had put down for the administration to focus on, looking at the Dream Academy expansion, as we discussed in detail last week, and getting into the district-wide tech audit. So those are really important items. And again, we're going to have this meeting at the high school in the media center because we want to do some demonstration of sort of potential classroom setup where we're moving away from the concept of the desktop to the teacher having the laptop. So the high school is a good place to do it. That's my report.
All right, any questions for Dr. Zito? All right, hearing none, we can end with my brief report. I just wanted to briefly talk about the meeting next Thursday. It's going to be a special board meeting. Part of that is because the 2 items being discussed, the tech plan and audit, as well as the special ed and potential expansion of the Dream Academy, are 2 of the goals that the board gave to Dr. Zito as part of his annual evaluation. And I think it's important that we take those goals seriously and we ask that he update us on the progress of them. So I think while some people had mentioned, should they go through committee, I think it's more important that they go through the full board now because they are part of Dr. Zito's goals. So I look forward to seeing the progress that's being made on those and potential board decisions on next steps regarding our technology plan and audit, and as well as a potential expansion of the Dream Academy. So I look forward to that meeting. I think it is one of the measuring sticks that each Board of Education has for their superintendent. So I think we should take that, and we do take that seriously, and we look forward to seeing what kind of progress has been made in terms of options and potential next steps for both of those items. And with that, one of the bigger conversations, I think, during this budget process this year has been an increased conversation on technology and where the district's going. So I know my counterpart to my left here, Mr. Gavin, has been a big advocate of technology reviews and changes. And one of the things I would like to do after we have this review of the technology plan and audit is to create a technology committee so that we have maybe a firmer understanding or a better understanding of where we want to go in the future. Not everything's going to happen overnight, but I think if we create a committee and lay the framework of where we want to see the district in the next 3 to 5 years, I think that's beneficial for everyone, both the community, the staff, and the administration as a whole. So with that being said, I would like to appoint a technology committee. I would like Mr. Gavin to chair that committee, and I would also like Ms. Manella, who has an IT background, to be on that committee as well, and Ms. Lafredo, who's a teacher in a school district, to be part of that committee as well. So I look forward to that committee getting started. I would like to have it started sometime after budget adoption in March. I would like us to focus on right now the budget and the goals that Dr. Zito has, as well as allowing Chris to present the tech plan and the tech audit. And I think from there, that's a good springboard for this committee to start working and talk about where we want to be from a technology perspective in the future, as well as recommendations for the next budget cycle. So with that being said, I hope everyone has a great evening, and I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Mr. Slattery. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Barron-Morphia. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you.
Good evening.